Sangiovese Lambrusco, Sangiovese Lambrusco,
Aglianico, Albana, Arnese, Barbera, Canaiolo, Cannonau, Carricante, Cesanese, Cortese,
Cortese,
Corvina,
Convina,
Croatina,
Croatina,
Dolcetto.
Dolcetto.
Welcome to the book series by the Italian Wine Podcast. My name is Joy Livingston, and for the next several weeks I will be bringing you some choice narrated content from the book Sangiovese Lambrusco and Other Vine Stories, written by Mr. Science himself, Professor Attilio Scienza, and Serena Imazio, published by positivepress.net. To get a copy of the book, the Kindle version is available on Amazon, and hardcover copies are available from positivepress.net. If you like the content we share each week, consider donating to our show. Find details at italianwinepodcast.com or on our social media channels. Sit back and get your geek on as we jump into the details, stories, and science on Italian wines and vines. Moscato and Malvasia, a journey through time and place. During the opulent banquets of the great empires and rich Central European courts, sweet and aromatic wines shone on the tables. Full of color and perfume, dense and sugary, they evoked the splendor and pleasure of distant lands. Moscato and Malvasia came from countries overlooking the Mediterranean, Cyprus, Crete, Greece, and Italy, where the sun flooded the vineyards. The wine crossed Europe by sea and land, until it reached the sumptuous homes of kings, aristocrats, and high prelates. Most scholars agree that Moscato has been known and appreciated since ancient times. Already the Greeks knew them as anathelikon, Moscaton. In the Odyssey, Homer describes a honey-flavored wine. The Romans called these aromatic varieties apianae, because they were so sweet that they attracted bees, apis. There are numerous varieties that fall under the common denomination of Moscato or Malvasia, today cultivated all over the world. The name Moscato in several languages distinguishes more than 200 varieties of wine and table grapes, with both white and black berries united by the Moscato flavor. Malvasia, on the other hand, according to Giuseppe di Rovesenda, 1877, a Piemontese ampelographer, should produce grapes with a special, slightly bitter Moscato flavor. As we will see in detail, this is not always the case. In fact, the Malvasia are very heterogeneous varieties in appearance, in productivity, and with regard to the ripeness of the grapes, as well as in their aromatic characteristics. Due to these striking differences, the history of Moscato and Malvasia has always been a curious enigma for those involved in viticulture. The first clue to understanding where these varieties originated could come from an etymological analysis. Let's start our exploration with the Moscato vine. Moscato, many names, one story. Golden sugar-rich berries that when they become too ripe, their skin begins to give way, releasing an irresistible nectar for insects. For a long time, it was a common opinion, and in part, it still is today, that the name Moscato, fly in English, comes from precisely this characteristic. Nothing could be farther from the truth. Already Hesiod, in the poem Works and Days, speaks of a vine from Anatolia in Asia Minor, whose berries tasted of musk, a rare and expensive scent secreted by deer glands. The etymology is the same of musky ox, muskrat, but also nutmeg. White musk perfume, Moscato, simply means odorous or perfumed. The origin of the name is now traced back to Sanskrit muska and Persian musk, which generally expresses an aromatic feeling. This clue, which ennobles the semantic origin of the vines and the wines that derive from them, limits their origin to the corresponding linguistic territories, namely the Middle Eastern areas between Syria and Persia, present-day Iran, to the south, closed to the north by the Caucasus and bordered laterally by the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. A perfectly fitting name for these grape varieties which share such an intense aroma. They are in fact characterized by the production of molecules, terpenes, that give the fruit this characteristic aroma that evolves in the wine. In viticulture, a first classification can be made between aromatic and non-aromatic vines, precisely on the basis of the plant's ability to synthesize terpene molecules in the skin of the berry. Therefore, all varieties that have active and productive genetic gear for the synthesis of these compounds are defined as aromatic, and the non-aromatic ones are all those in which this part of the metabolism remains dormant. The Moscato family occupies a prominent position in the aromatic varieties, with the founder being, as we will soon see, the Moscato Bianco. For the sake of completeness, it should be noted that although all Moscato grapes are distinguished by their aromatics, there are various varieties, such as Aleatico or Bracchetto d'Acqui, that are just as aromatic but are not called Moscato. After the famous descendants of Pinot and Gouais, identified in 1999, of which we will discuss later. The Moscato varieties were the second group to be recognized as members of a real family through DNA analysis and the reconstruction of their family relationships. Research was conducted in 2001 in the laboratories of the Istituto Sperimentale per la Viticoltura in Conegliano by Mana Crespan and Nicoletta Milani. At that time, the two researchers were working in a very artisanal way, without having access to instruments that have now become commonplace. Armed with a ruler, Mana Crespan compared the genetic profiles of Moscato, and at a certain point she realized that the results of the analysis converged towards a parent-offspring relationship with either Moscato Bianco or the Zibibbo. The results of the first research project show that these two grape varieties were the founders of the Moscato family, from which most of the other varieties originated through wild crossbreeds, coincidentally occurring in nature, and anthropogenic crossbreeds, desired and managed by man. Moscato Bianco has been known for centuries and has a long list of synonyms, such as Muscat à Muscat Blanc, à petit grain, Muscat de Frontignan, Muscat d'Alsace from France, Gelba Muscatella from Austria, Moscatel Gallego Branco from Portugal, Moscatel de Grano Menudo from Spain, Moscato Aspro from Cyprus, Muscat Frontignan from Moldova, Moscatel from Malta, Sarga Muscotali from Hungary, Muscat Zluty from Czech Republic, Muscat Sella from Montenegro, and Tamayosa Romanesca from Romania. It is widely cultivated throughout the world, but most of it is found in Italy. Here the main synonyms are Moscato d'Asti, Moscatello di Montalcino, Moscato d'Arqua, Moscato Reale, and Moscato di Tempio. This vine is widespread throughout the Italian peninsula for the production of aromatic wines. The white grape variety is the most widely grown Moscato in Piemonte, and each year Moscato d'Asti DOCG alone produces about 30 million bottles. Zibibbo is an ancient variety as well, diffused and appreciated throughout the Mediterranean basin. It also boasts a healthy list of synonyms. It is known, for instance, as Moscato d'Alessandria, referring to the famous Egyptian city. The name Zibibbo evokes a North African origin, from Cap Zebib in Tunisia. This could have been the vine's point of origin, perhaps imported by the Arabs to Sicily, and then from there it spread to the rest of Italy. An alternative etymology is zebibi, which means raisin in Arabic, because this grape is very suitable for drying and good for both the production of passito wine and for storage as raisins. In Tuscany, this vine is called Salamana, named after the individual who introduced it from Greece, Sir Alamano Salviati. Thank you for listening to this installment from the book Sangiovese Lambrusco and Other Vine Stories. We hope you expanded your horizons and gave your brain cells an Italian wine workout. We'll see you again next Thursday, and remember the Kindle version of the book is available on Amazon and hardcover copies are available from positivepress.net. If you feel inspired to make a donation to our show, please visit us at ItalianWinePodcast.com. Find Italian Wine Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. Our Twitter handle is @ItaWinePodcast.
Sangiovese, Scioppettino, Terotego, Timorasso, Tintiglia, Refosco da Peduncolo Rosso, Sagrantino, Schiava Gentile, Verdicchio, Vermentino, Vernaccia, Uva di Troia.
Perché alla fine uva di Troia?